Hey everyone, it's Mari. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I have a layout here today for the Scrapbook Nerd online shop. And I'm going to be starting out here with a piece of white cardstock that I have applied some gesso to. And I'm going to take a 1-inch flat brush here and I'm going to take some of the Daiquiri Ice acrylic paint. This is from Vicky Boutin Mixed Media. And I'm just going to swipe this across my paper and create a mixed media base for my layout today. So I thought I was going to work with this kind of as a vertical, but I end up, as I work through the process here, switching this to a horizontal, and you'll see that happen here in a few minutes. So I'm just going to take a little piece of plastic and apply some water to it, and I'm going to drop a little bit of that acrylic paint in there. I'm going to water that down, and then I'm just going to apply some drips onto my layout as well, just to do some splatters and get a little bit of that splattery look around those swipes of paint that are on there. I'm just trying to build up this mixed media here for the base for my layout. I am going to be doing a floral theme today. The theme over at Scrapbook Nerd this week is flowers and garden. And I'm going to be using florals here from the Flower Market collection from Cartabella. This is a stencil that's part of that Flower Market collection. And I wanted to apply some texture paste through that stencil onto my background here, just to create a little bit of that texture behind where my photo mat is going to be going. And I just like how this looks. I think it just adds a little bit of interest to the layout. This modeling paste that I'm using here dries pretty quickly. You can use whatever you have in your stash. I know that Joy has a few different options over in the shop. If you do have some of the Vicky Boutin pastes, you could even use some of those. You could use her iridescent glaze, etc. There's lots of options. Now I'm also going to be using a couple of stamps from this Pink Fresh Studio stamp set. This is from Let Your Heart Decide. And I wanted to just stamp out some flower images here onto the layout and apply just kind of like a background. Sorry for my crazy hair getting in the frame there. To apply some flower images to the base, sort of like below or underneath where some die cuts are going to be going. So I've just stamped those out with some Distress Oxide ink. I think that one is maybe Tattered Rose. And I'm just going to be using a few colors here that complement the Flower Market collection. So I think I end up using some peacock feathers. I use one of the different yellow oxide inks here. I can't remember which one. Not mustard seed, but you'll see it on the screen here in a minute. And I'm just going to use, like I said, a few different inks to put down some color here. So there's that yellow. I'm just going to stamp that out. And I'm also going to stamp a couple of little foliage bits as well with some green inks. And there is definitely a couple of different tones of green in the Flower Market collection, and some really pretty blues and pinks and kind of a lipstick color. So I'm going to try to work those colors in. Now here's my 4x3 photograph here. This is actually a photo of Bailey and her dad as she's coming down the aisle at her wedding last summer. I love this photo. And I'm going to just do a really simple mat behind the photo here with one of the journaling cards from the Flower Market collection, just a piece of scrap paper that I had left over from the 6x6 pad from another layout. I took another one of the journaling cards and I ran it through my notepad punch just to create kind of like a little bit of an interesting edge on it there. And I'm popping things up on foam adhesive just to give it some dimension on the layout. Now I wanted to use one of the cardstock stickers where I have the stamping there. Like I said, the stamping is just going to be kind of like behind the scenes as a base, and I'm going to layer on top of that. This is a cardstock sticker from the sticker sheet there that I just popped up on some foam adhesive. Now I'm taking one of the frames and one of the die cuts that I'm going to be using to embellish on the right side of the photograph there as well. Now I've decided I wanted to size down the white paper on the left there, just about 1/2 inch. And now what I'm going to do is take a strip of that floral paper from Flower Market and stick that down to the left side. And I really like how that brings in all of the different colors that I've used in for the stamping, and in some of the other little bits and pieces here in the photo mat layers as well, just to draw those colors in over to the side there as well. And I'm going to do a little bit of sewing machine stitching, where I put that strip of pattern paper on the left, just in a really straight line there. So just really simple. Add a little bit of extra texture over on that side, a little bit of detail. Just going to glue this down. I really like to use liquid adhesive wherever I have my mixed media, just so that it really sticks well to that paint or gesso or whatever's on the base. In this case, there's also some of that texture paste there. Sorry about my hair again. I moved my camera setup, so I keep forgetting how close I can and can't get to the camera before my head gets in there. I think I'm going to have to start wrapping my head up in a scarf or something. Okay, so just going on here, you can see that black scripty word love there. That actually is something that I die cut from the die cuts that are part of this collection. And the die cuts have, I think there's 4 different words, like enjoy and beauty and love. And I can't remember what the other word is, but I love those dies because they just create these really intricate little phrases that you can then glue onto your projects, whether it's cards or whatever. So they're really cool. And Cartabella has been carrying those with a lot of their different collections lately, and I love those. Echo Park, same thing. They're very, very cool. And if they have them, I usually try to buy them. I'm taking one of the little brads from the collection as well, and I just cut the little back off of it, and then I'm going to use a glue dot on that. I actually end up taking that off later because I didn't repeat that element anywhere else. And I just thought that it kind of stuck out and looked a little bit weird. So I end up putting an enamel dot down instead of that brad eventually anyways. So yeah, you're just going to see me carry on here. I'm going to add a little bit more foam adhesive behind the photograph. Just trying to get that even in that way. You can see that I've added a strip of patterned paper behind the photograph. That's going to be a horizontal band behind the photo, kind of ground the photo a little bit. I am actually going to move that photo layer up a little bit and add a little bit of this black plaid washi tape underneath that pink and white strip, just so that the black plaid washi tape shows up a little bit more. But I really love this washi tape. I think it's very cool, and I'm going to use a little piece of it over to the left there. So that's going to be another little spot where I'm going to do some layering, and so there's going to be a little cluster over there to the left as well. Just add a little bit more detail there, and you'll just see me kind of creating a little bit of layering there with some foam adhesive and some enamel dots and different things. This photograph, I'll just tell you a little bit about the photo too. When Bailey and her dad were going to walk down the aisle, there were some guests that arrived at the wedding a little bit late, which was unfortunate because unlike in a church setting, I guess at least in this scenario, they didn't realize that they needed to kind of get out of the way, and they were standing behind them. And so that when the photographer took the photos of Bailey and her dad coming down the aisle, you could see the people standing behind them. So what I did was I put this photo into Photoshop, and I just took and I lassoed some of the tree area that was behind them, and I just repeated that. I copied that pattern and I replaced the area. I just basically cut the people out and replaced them with the foliage. So you actually really can't even see it. It did an okay job of it. I was actually happy with how it turned out. So you can't see. Actually, also the wedding planner lady that we had helping us that day was kind of trying to fix the back of Bailey's dress. And so you could kind of see her a little bit as well. And so I managed to, through the magic of Photoshop, kind of get rid of all of that. And so I was happy when I printed this photo and I looked at it and I thought, yeah, you can't really tell. I'm sure that if I hadn't told you that, you wouldn't be able to realize that when you're looking at the photo. So I love the photo. I love the look on their faces. She's just beaming. She's so happy and she has a beautiful smile. And her dad's, you can tell that he's pretty choked up. He's looking pretty nostalgic at this moment. And anyways, I have another really great photo of Brady at the altar. The look on his face as he sees her for the very first time, because they didn't do the first look photos. All of their photographs were taken, of the two of them, the wedding party and that after the ceremony. A lot of couples these days are doing those first look photos and doing their photos before the actual wedding. But Brady didn't want to do that. He's, was really traditional and wanted to see her for the first time when she was walking down the aisle, which was quite a nice moment, obviously. And I got some really good pictures of him at that moment as well. So the photographer, of course, was the one that captured that, which was great. And so here you can just see that I'm just grabbing some more of that washi tape, and I am going to just run that all along below that pink and cream colored strip of pattern paper that's behind the photo. And then, like I said, I am going to move the photo layer up after I'm done here, and you will be able to see that on, I don't think I included still shots, but just imagine that when I'm all done here, that I moved that photo layer up. And if there are still shots, probably on the Facebook page, if you're going to check out the Scrapbook Nerd fan page, I will probably put some still shots of the layout on there. I just love this little scripty word love. I think it's so cute. And I decided that I wanted to let it rest over on that strip to the right of the photograph. There's a few different spots where I could have put it, and it would have looked nice. I did use a bunch of those really tiny little heart stickers from the sticker sheet, just kind of scattered them around the layout, as well as some enamel dots from the collection as well. And then what I did was I went ahead and I stamped out those a little floral piece and this little foliage piece in the same colors of ink that I used below the photograph there, just to repeat those stamped images in another spot, just because I thought it looked kind of weird that there was only those stamped images in that lower area. So I'm going to repeat that up in that little cluster to the left, which you can see I'm working on there. I did actually go ahead then and print out all of my journaling on my computer in Microsoft Word. I cut those strips of journaling and I glue them above the photograph as for the little journaling area there. Wow, my hair is crazy on this particular occasion. Anyways, so you're going to see a little transition here, and you'll see that I will have added the journaling to above the photo. And the reason why I chose to do that is because I just thought that I didn't want to cover up the stamped area underneath the photo. So I ended up doing it above. And I just kind of put a chipboard heart above the journaling, which I thought was kind of fun, and just is almost kind of like a little introduction to the journaling, which is at the top. That's my layout for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, we are having a flower theme over at Scrapbook Nerd this week, so make sure you check out the other projects on Instagram and on the Facebook group and so on here on YouTube, and see what the inspiration is for the different projects that people are doing. I am going to have an end card here with how you can find me in social media. Thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you another time. Bye-bye.